Hey everybody, sorry about not posting a video in a while, but today I'm going to talk about the myth of the Southern strategy. So the gist of the Southern strategy was the Republican Party under Nixon were trying to appeal to white supremacists in the South in order to win their votes so they can win elections. So up until, up until 1964, the Southern voting bloc, stretching from Texas to Virginia, was essentially the Democrats' playground. They won consistently ever since the end of Reconstruction. The South, when solid with their similar demographics, similar shared history, voted for the Democratic Party, and this started to change around 1964 when Barry Goldwater started to win the South for the first time. And then after 1964, it went back to the Democrats under Kennedy and Lyndon Johnson, and then they opened the floodgates of Nixon, who won a huge amount, basically won all the states but Massachusetts, and then Democrats started pointing to the Republicans, calling them racist. I think this is just a strategy because I don't think the case, because how did all these people, first of all, more Republicans voted for the Civil Rights Act than the Democrats, and the Republicans were the prime proponent behind the Civil Rights Act, Barry Goldwater being the exception. He believed, not because he was a racist, because he believed it infringed too much on the liberty of the individual, and I would have to agree with him in some respect on that one. But then Nixon started to won the whole entire United States, practically in the South and the North. So I don't think if he appealed to Southern racists, that he would probably tick off the traditional base in the Northeast and the West. However, I think it's more of a leftward shift of the Democratic Party under McGovern. Because if you look, a slightly more moderate candidate, no, wrong election, where is it? There we go. 1976, the South went again for Jimmy Carter. So this would be the solid South, with the exception of Virginia. So the white supremacists all of a sudden went back to the Democrats. That makes very little sense, even after Nixon fell under Watergate. So this is crazy. I don't agree with the Southern strategy. I don't think that pans out. So the racists it took about 50 years to be consolidated under the Republican Party. I think it has a lot more to do with the Democratic Party alienating Southern social conservatives, and they eventually adopted the economic policies of the Republican Party. I think that's a relatively new advent, and I think has a lot more to do with the 2000 election than the 1964 election. I'll give you an example of what I mean. So here's the map from 1992. So this is the county map, and you're going to notice that there's going to be a lot of blue in the South. Today are hardcore Republican areas. Arkansas, well, this is Bill Clinton's home state. Look at this huge chunks of Louisiana. New Orleans, and also the white areas went for Bill Clinton. Mississippi, these are now a traditional Republican state, but still some of the white counties went for Bill Clinton. Alabama, Georgia, white counties traditionally. However, there's always been this traditional Republican stronghold since the Civil War, have been traditionally Republican counties. Same thing with eastern Tennessee, always been Republican, and this area is still Democratic. And notice these cities are still Republican. So this is the countryside of Tennessee, and it went Democrat. It's the reverse of today, and these would be this quote-unquote racist that they're talking about in Tennessee, and there's Mississippi and Alabama. Alabama was a lot more competitive. Same thing with Georgia. The Panhandle is still traditionally Republican along the Gulf Coast. Look at Texas. Texas is pockmarked by the Democrats, and this area is pretty much all solid red, but the cities today. A lot more red in New York. See, the Southern strategy doesn't make sense because it took over 60 years for the quote-unquote racists to join the Republican Party and be consolidated under Bush in the 2000 election, when the South was actually now consistently controlled by the Republican Party, now at the state level too. I think that's important. I don't think the Southern strategy was actually a thing. I just don't think how could the racist all of a sudden why would they take 60 years to join the Republican Party? I think it has a lot more to do with the alienating of Southern conservatives, Christianity in particular, and also it took time for the Republican Party to convert the South over to more pro-capitalism, less Keynesian, more Austrian and monetarism economics than anything. If you guys want more information on this, I would go read Dinesh D'Souza. He has a lot to talk about under like the urban plantation, how the Democrats just kept the same counties that produce cotton. That's a great thing to look into. He also does a lot of movies. I'd recommend him. So thank you guys. This is why I don't think the Southern strategy was a thing. It's simply it took too long for the Republicans to convert the South over to their side, and that was consolidated finally under the 2000 election. The Ronald Reagan and Nixon seem to be anomalies because they were widely popular and they defeated far left-wing candidates. Thank you guys. Have a great day. Please like, comment, and subscribe.